Hello, kababayan and YouTubers. Today's subject is pertaining to Filipino citizens, green card holders, and dual citizen. What happens to those three groups there if they're in America or in Canada and they got sick with COVID? What happens? Can they still go to the Philippines? The short answer to that would be yes. Okay, so for your information, according to CDC, a person normally recovers within 10 days if they can recover. So it takes 10 days for a person to recover. Will they still test positive? Yes. But after 10 days of isolation and recovery, they will no longer have the symptoms of COVID, no longer be infectious, and that should end their isolation. 10 days. That's according to the CDC. So let's put that into practice. So day one, you get sick and you went ahead and got a test for COVID and you tested positive. So day two, all the way to day 12, that's 10 days. 10 days of isolation and recovery. And that 10 days, you should be able to be not having any more symptoms, no longer infectious, and that should end your isolation. So the following day will be day 13th. So you go to your doctor and you tell them what happened to you, and the doctor needs to state in a piece of paper that you, okay, because you're flying out, you got to remind him that you're flying out to the Philippines. That on that paper that he's going to write up, it should indicate, number one, that you had COVID and indicate mildly sick, severely sick, or asymptomatic sick. He has to indicate what happened to you. And then two, the doctor has to also note there on your paper that you have completed the mandatory isolation period. Three, he should also indicate that you're no longer infectious and you're not going to get other people sick. And number four, lastly, he should indicate, or he must indicate, that you're able to travel. Okay, so you need all those four. So that's day 13th. Unless, I'm assuming that you did this early in the morning at 8 o'clock. So on day 13th, you still have time. So at 12 noon, you can go ahead and start your 48-hour RT-PCR test. So you have 48-hour window. So within that 48-hour window, you need to be able to test, get your result, and upload it to the One Health Pass and get your QR code. And then after you get your QR code, and you can fly. If you can get a flight on the 13th, after you've done all that required RT-PCR documents, you can fly on day 13th, or you can fly on the day 14th, or you can fly on day 15th, but no later than 12 p.m. because you tested at 12 noon, so no later than date 15th, 12 noon, you have to fly. Unless they delayed your flight and it's not your fault, then it's fine. So the 48-hour RT-PCR rule is basically it's a window of 48 hours, okay, to be able to take your test, get your result, which may be a positive because you're just recovering from your illness. So it's gonna test positive, okay? If you test negative, then it's fine. All right, let me reiterate that because I stuttered. All right, so the 48-hour rule is for you to test and get your result. And of course, your result is going to be positive because you got sick. And then you upload it to your One Health Pass and get your QR code. And then you can fly. Okay? Now, I'll give you another scenario. Like today is February 26th. I bought a ticket to fly out on March 31st at 9 a.m. So I can get sick today and I have enough time to recover and isolate and recover and then still fly out on the March 31st, 9 a.m. So I can get sick next week and still have the 10-day isolation and recovery and then still fly out on the March 31st, 9 a.m. So the question is, what is the latest I can get sick and still fly out on March 31st, 9 a.m.? The answer to that is 13 days prior to my flight is my last day to get sick in order for me to fly out on March 31st, 9 a.m. So all I do is March 31st, I add 13 days backwards, and then that's my last day to get sick. But still have the 10-day recovery and isolation and still be able to take the RT-PCR test and then fly out. So based on this example, March 31st, 9 a.m. is my flight. So if I count 13 days backwards, my last day to get sick is March 18th. So March 18th, I get sick. I test for RT-PCR test, and I tested positive. So March 19th through March 28th is my isolation and recovery period, which will make me not have any more symptoms and no longer make me not infectious, and also that would end my isolation. Okay, so March 29th, I could go to my doctor and ask for the document indicating, okay, I'll repeat it, indicating that I was sick and I was severely sick, if that's the case, or mildly sick. Number two, he will indicate that I completed the mandatory isolation period. And then number three, he will indicate that I'm no longer infectious. I can't get anyone sick anymore. And number four, I'm free and able to travel. Once I get that piece of paper, I'm good. So now on March 29th at 9 a.m., I can get my 48-hour RT-PCR test. And then I'll wait for my result. Let's say I took that fast RT-PCR test and I get the same result that day. So March 30th, I can get my RT-PCR test result uploaded to the One Health plan. One Health Pass, and then I get my QR code from the One Health Pass. So on March 31st at 9 a.m., I have my One Health Pass QR code. Then I can fly out. Remember, guys, once you get sick, and it's like 10 days, 13 days prior to your flight, when you test again for the 48-hour RT-PCR test, you will test positive. But that positive is not bad because you could still fly. Okay, because the doctors know it's the ones gonna save you and let you fly. Okay, so this is the issues with Filipino citizen, green card holder, and you're dual citizen, and you got sick and you're testing positive. So this is the rule. Now, I know there's a lot to consume right now, but actually if you watch the video and then take notes and then maybe watch it several times, you'll get the gist of it. And you also learn that the last day for you to get sick is 13 days prior to your flight. And that's good to know, So another thing I like to bring up is if you're not fully vaccinated, you go to the Philippines, if you're not fully vaccinated, you will have to quarantine for 5 days. And of course, you're going to test on the fifth day. And guess what? You're going to test positive. Unless you recover real quick, you'll test negative. But on the fifth day, you should be able to get out of the quarantine hotel. But if you are fully vaccinated, you land at NAIA, no quarantine, you go home straight to your family. All right, kababayan and YouTubers, I hope this is, I hope I did a good job of explaining the situation, because I have so many questions coming from the subscribers and our kababayan. So I made this video just for them, and I hope it helps everybody else. So if you guys like this video, please give me a like. It really helps me out. And share this with your friends or loved ones or anybody that you know may need this information. And give me some comments, good or bad, or hopefully good. And don't forget, guys, to subscribe. All right, kababayan and YouTubers, I love you guys. Peace out.